What's up, FPL Gappers? Welcome back to my channel. This video is Thinking Ahead on Tuesdays, where I will be taking you through what my plans are for the following game week, for game week 3. If you're new around here, please do not forget to hit that subscribe button, like the video, and share the content. Also, do not forget to hit that notification bell so you do not miss any of this amazing FPL content I am bringing to you. I would like to apologize for last week's video. I have noticed there were a few um, errors in the player names. I do apologize. I did not look at it properly before uploading it. But if you do find such mistakes, please help me and the channel by putting it in the comments, or if you know me, even text me on private chat, and I will make sure I make those changes before uploading those videos again. Now, to take you through this video, when thinking ahead, I have got you the price rise players, basically the players that have risen in price. And let me run you through these quickly so we can get on to the amazing wildcard draft for those FPL managers who would like to be a bit more aggressive with the game and get your wildcard played in. So, the first one to rise in price for FPL is Mohamed Kudus. So Kudus has risen in price from 6.5 million to 6.6 million. Of course, very well deserved. Did play well in the game against Burnley in game week 1. In game week 2, I think he played really well. Unfortunate to come out without any returns in FPL. It was Man City, of course, but he almost scored in an instance where James Trafford came out. Probably many of you would say deliberate or non-deliberate handball, but Kudus could have scored off that chance because he was one-on-one with the keeper. Trafford did well to come out, but in those circumstances, handle the ball. Should have been a red card to some of us, should not have to the others. But Kudus has risen in price and very well deserved as well. The next player to have risen in price is Erling Haaland. He has gone from 14 million to 14.1 million, where now it's making it a bit difficult to get Haaland in the team because of the price change. We also have Semenyo, who's got 2 price rises in 2 game weeks. So in game week 1, he rose from 7 mil to 7.1, and now he is at 7.2, making it all the more difficult to try and get Semenyo unless you do some downgrades in your team. Well deserved, I would say, again with Semenyo, because in the last match, he did almost score from 3 yards. Unfortunately, hit the crossbar, but did manage to assist Tavernier for his goal. Tijani Reinders, again, I think this one FPL predicted ahead and rose his price to 5.7 from 5.6 and came out with a blank, unfortunately. Maybe he might decrease in price in the following game week. Calafiori, another player who has risen in price, I think again very well deserved. He did assist goals for Arsenal in the last game week and has risen from 5.5 to 5.6 million now. Ballard from Southampton, where did I get that from? Sorry, from Sunderland, has risen in price but did walk out of the pitch with an injury. Not sure what the injury is yet, but as soon as I get to know, I will keep you posted on that, okay? So he has gone up from 4.5 million to 4.6 million. Again, now, coming back to Arsenal, Saliba and Gabriel have increased in price from 6 million to 6.1 million respectively. Again, Arsenal have kept a clean sheet in 2 of their games now. I think again, well deserved. Arsenal really look like a team that can defend and attack well, and hence the price rise for both these players. Cucurella has risen again from 6 million to 6.1. Of course, a clean sheet in the first match and an assist in the second. Very well deserved price rise. It is now looking like we are going to have to make some sacrifices to get these players in if we want a very strong squad. Another player that has risen in price is Ait Nouri from Man City, 6 million to 6.1 million, walked out of the pitch in the game against Tottenham. Again, not sure about the injury, but has risen in price. Now, for those FPL managers who want to play this game aggressively, I have prepared an FPL wildcard draft for you, and this is all rated by Fantasy Football Hub. The link is in the description below. 50% off on Fantasy Football Hub. Full refund if you do not win your mini leagues, but terms and conditions do apply to this. Now, for my wildcard draft, you will see that there are no Man City players because I like to avoid Pep Roulette. The only player I would have in this wildcard draft would be Haaland, but again, he's gone up in price. Not sure, not consistent on the performances again, so I have left him out of this FPL draft. In goal, I've gone with Robert Sanchez covering the Chelsea defense. I think Chelsea have got good fixtures up to game week 5 where they play Manchester United. Also continuing to get good fixtures after game week 5. So that's why I have Robert Sanchez. I've stuck with Dubravka again just for the price element of it. It is difficult to fit in a good number of players and a good FPL point collectors only because of their prices. Dubravka at 4 million fits the team very well. Now, moving on to the wildcard draft defense, I have gone with Saliba. Of course, playing Liverpool away is not ideal, but if you can afford to keep him or you have trust in that Arsenal defense like I would, if I was wildcarding this game week, unfortunately I'm not. I'd like to keep my wildcard for game week 6, 7 where Arsenal fixtures do get better, and then I will look to get them in that wildcard. So I've gone with Saliba, playing Liverpool away, not ideal, but if you are an Arsenal fan or trust in that Arsenal defense, I think there is potential there. Second defender I've gone with is Daniel Munoz. I've seen how attacking he is for Crystal Palace. Not a bad pick. Munoz does tend to get high up the pitch and will sometime soon come up with some returns. The fixtures as well, not too bad for Crystal Palace. So that is why I've chosen Daniel Munoz. My next defender is Marc Cucurella. Again, Chelsea have had a good defense. Fixtures are good, hence why I've picked Marc Cucurella. Tends to get high up the pitch just like Daniel Munoz, and a return is forthcoming. Next defender is Mickey van der Ven. I have already had him. I didn't have to take him out. I think Spurs fixtures are one of the best for the coming game week. So that's why I have picked Mickey van der Ven. He plays Bournemouth at home. And my last defender I have picked is Tarkowski. Again, fixtures not too bad. Playing Wolves away. Tarkowski is a defensive contribution monster, so he will pick up those defensive contribution points along with the clean sheets because Everton are a hit and miss team, but they do tend to keep a lot of clean sheets when the fixtures are good for them. Moving on to my midfield, I have gone with Ismail Assar. This you could call it knee-jerk because it is on the performance last game week in game week 2. So that's why I've picked Ismail Assar from Palace. He does tend to get the return. Now with Eze leaving, I think him and Mateta will be the focal point. I've gone with Ismail Assar only because he's a midfielder, one more point for a goal scored over Mateta. I've also gone with Jack Grealish in midfield. Again, this is purely based on last game week's returns that he got. He does look like he has started well at this Everton team, assisting Iliman Ndiaye and James Garner for their goals, as well as keeping that clean sheet point in midfield. Fixtures are good. I prefer having him if I was using my wildcard. My next player is Mohamed Kudus. Has done well in game week 1, deserved a return in game week 2, unfortunately not. But fixtures again for Spurs is the reason why I have Mohamed Kudus in this team. Mo Salah, what can I say? I don't want to go against this FPL legend. I am recording again before the Newcastle and Liverpool match, so which is why I've kept Salah, hoping he gets returns in this match, as he is my captain. And my next midfielder is Antoine Semenyo, who has again risen in price, like I said earlier. Everything now seems to go through Antoine Semenyo, and he is also rising in price quite quickly. I don't want to get to a point. If I were wildcarding, I wouldn't want to get to a point where I am locked out of price on Antoine Semenyo. Moving on to my strikers, I've gone with Chris Wood again, purely because of the fixtures. Playing West Ham, you know how we all know basically how leaky West Ham is. They do concede a lot of goals, 3 from Sunderland, 5 from Chelsea, which is why I'm backing Chris Wood to get a couple of returns. But again, it's all down to you if you're hitting the wild card. I'm not hitting, so he won't be in my team for the match against West Ham. João Pedro, what an amazing player. Hoping he gets some returns against Fulham. Looking to captain him as well in my team if I get there. And my final and last pick in this wildcard draft will be Richarlison. Again, fixtures are good. He seems to be playing well. Thomas Frank believes in him, and I think there is a lot of capability for him to get some FPL returns in the future game weeks. Now, I have run this team through Fantasy Football Hub. It does give me a team rating of 90% and an expected predicted points of 59.9, almost 60, which we can hope to get more. Again, on this wildcard, only if you're aggressive and you're not happy with your team, you have injuries. Players like Cole Palmer, Bukayo Saka did walk out injured. If that has put your team in a mess, then I would suggest hit the wildcard and then try and pick some of the players, maybe not all, but some of the players that I have picked in the team, and I would go it, especially because of their fixtures coming up. Now, this is all for today. If you enjoyed the video, if you've got this far, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss a thing, and I will catch you for another video tomorrow. Peace.